Having an intellectual disability is part of who I am, with experiences both good and bad that have shaped me into the person I am today. My name is Liam Price. I have autism and Tourette's. Sometimes certain things automatically happen to me that I have difficulty controlling, especially when I become anxious. Quirky behaviors, inappropriate laughter, and squeaky noises and tics that take over my focus, and then my focus becomes crushed. And it doesn't matter if it's an inconvenient time for it to happen. It can be something as a little light touch against my skin, a word that triggers a fearful image like, "Liam, you're being disrespectful," or just too many sounds in one space that I could no longer filter out. My mind can become paralyzed by a non-stop loop of obsessive compulsive behaviors and tics that take over. Sometimes I need a forced shutdown from everyone and everything. Sometimes I cannot climb out of the deep hole of despair I sink into without somebody's help. And it's embarrassing, and I hate what it makes me feel about myself and what I think others think about me too. Having an intellectual disability is part of who I am, with experiences both good and bad that have shaped me into the person I am today without limiting who I am. I've embraced my disability as a gift that has blessed and enriched my life, but I didn't always see my life in such a positive light. Looking back, I first see my life and outlook before the Special Olympics. How did I see my life and feel about myself before becoming a Special Olympics athlete? Well, I didn't have many friends outside of school and during structured activity times at school. This was not because I didn't care about making friends. I simply didn't know how to communicate to them about my interests and then know when to ask them about their interests. When I was a young kid, I felt awkward and out of place in typical settings. I became more uncomfortable in social situations, and it was hard trying to read people and their nonverbal cues. Therefore, I became less interested in being around others at the time. I started regressing socially, and I chose to begin homeschooling by 5th grade. This did help me focus better academically, but now I had no network of peers or friends. I spent a lot of time alone, and I had lousy eating and exercise habits. And it was a choice of lifestyle that eventually left me very overweight and very lonely. I could only hope something would change the outlook on my situation. During 7th grade, however, my parents started taking me to Special Olympics for swimming, and within a few months, my outlook did begin to change. Over time, I expanded my activities to include basketball, flag football, and even ballroom dancing. I also began making friends again and repairing the relationship with some of my old friends. This eventually led me to returning to my high school my freshman year, 9th grade. It took me some time to adjust, but there became a point when a teacher invited me to join a unified track and field team that he was going to start coaching that year. This was a real IHSAA sport in cooperation with Special Olympics Indiana, and there were other athletes with intellectual disabilities as well as typical peers who became my teammates and over time, friends in and outside of school. With unified sports, I gained much more confidence, athletic abilities, and social skills. This opportunity was the beginning of a life-changing path that improved my health and outlook on life. I also became a manager for my boys' varsity and JV basketball team, an officer in our Best Buddies chapter, and I was voted both homecoming and prom king my senior year of high school. So again, there have been times I felt the pain from experiences I wish no one to endure. I must also equally acknowledge the undeniable blessings that I have enjoyed and the enrichment they have added to my life, such as the things I mentioned earlier. Having an intellectual disability, once again, is part of who I am, with experiences both good and bad that have shaped me into the person I am today without limiting who I am and limiting what I can do. I feel like I've acknowledged my intellectual disability. It does define my challenges, but it will not define my limitations. This is a message I am glad to share with the good and the bad that came with learning it. Loretta Claiborne, a decorated Special Olympics athlete and member of the Special Olympic Board of Directors, and who I recently had the honor of interviewing for a Special Olympics Facebook broadcast, once said, "I figured if my story could change a person's mind about another person, or especially a child's mind about another child, then it was the right thing to do." Now, I hope all of you really got something out of my speech. I look forward to getting to know everybody. Take care.